Welcome back to Now That's Weird Radio on TV. And my guest here is Gary Heseltine, a fellow Brit. Now, I remember just a little while ago, and you probably do too, we had Gary on the radio show, and on one of the advert breaks, I said to Gary, I'm actually going to put you forward for UFO Congress this year because I think you'd go down really well here. And here we are, both sitting together in one room in Laughlin in Nevada, about 70 degrees of sunshine outside, where apparently it's snowing back home, and not too bad out here, is it really?
No, and I would have to say that this is quite surreal for me because it was always an ambition to get to Laughlin, and through a strange quirk of fate, through yourself, I owe you a debt of gratitude. Thank you very much.
Well, the strange thing is about this is that I had to fill some very big shoes as the UK Director of Congress because I was following in the footsteps of Graham Birdsall. And obviously everyone knows him through UFO magazine. And he had actually said to you, hadn't he, just before his death that he was going to put you forward, and unfortunately never did.
Yes, at the conference that never took place, i.e. the 2003 conference, because he literally died within about 10 days of this conference starting, I was going to be a major speaker, one of the proper speakers, and on the strength of that he was going to recommend me through to Bob and Terry Brown, but obviously he died. I was visiting him in the hospital every day, but sadly he passed away. And he was a great man, and the loss of the magazine and his legacy has put the subject back a good 10 years in the European movement.
Absolutely, it is a big loss, and I'm sure our hearts go out to his family still, even now. And I still talk to Helen Birdsall on Facebook on a fairly regular basis. Now, your talk here at Congress certainly has got a lot of people talking. A lot of people have come up to me and said how much they enjoyed it. Most people know, obviously, that are watching this about the Prufos database, but just give us an update for those that don't.
Well, I'm currently working on my 8th report. As people who've been following me for the last 8 years will know, I do an annual report. I've done 7, and the 8th is virtually done, but the recent release of some new MOD files just a week before I came out here has meant that I've put it on hold, because I suspect I'll find more police sightings when I trawl through 6,000 pages of material. But the bottom line is, as it stands now, there will be around 40 new cases involving around another 90 officers. So when you add that to last year's figures, we're looking about 385 cases going back to 1901, involving about 790 British police officers.
Now, you're a serving police officer yourself at the moment. Are you finding that more and more people are getting braver and coming forward with their reports now, or is it still tricky?
No, I think it's still tricky. If I was, say, there was a regular TV show which I appeared on and that was on mainstream, then that would obviously raise your profile. But other than police review, things like that, it's now and again, if you're in the national media, you'll get a couple of officers who'll see the article, or you do a spot on local radio or a spot on regional television, then that usually prompts 1 or 2 cases to come forward. But it's not a flood, it's just a steady stream, and I think I've still on scratched the tip of an iceberg.
Do you find you get the pee ripped out of you in the locker room, so to speak?
Well, I think that happened initially, as I always expected it would. My inspector's an alien and all that kind of, take me to your leader. But I expected all that. That's the police banter that people in Britain who know police officers will equate to. The reality is that as within a week of myself launching, I had officers of my own force coming forward with stories from their military days, and indeed over the last few years I've had probably about half a dozen officers come forward from my own force. What I would say is that it's always going to be an evolving thing. I think the higher my profile will be, and shows hopefully like this will take off, the more other people will get to hear those shows and come forward.
Absolutely right, and let's hope that's the case. Talking of humour, I don't know if you've seen it yet when you've walked up the street here, but outside here is a big flashing sign. You know how the Americans like to illuminate everything. It says, "Welcome to UFO Congress." And as you walk up to the next one, the Edgewater, it says, "Free spaceship parking." I don't know if you've seen that, have you?
No, no, I haven't seen that, but that's what we've got to deal with. I find it frustrating, and I must admit that when you come to conferences, I'm not one for seeing alien balloons and alien head type, because for me this is a very serious subject, and it's hard enough to reach people on the street, which is what I'm trying to do with ordinary people with police officer cases. And when that kind of merchandising takes place, and I understand why it does, because people want to make money, but in the end I think it trivialises the subject and in a sense reinforces the media stereotype of this subject.